Oh, hello and welcome to What Are We Talking About with Jamie Jakes. I am him. I am sitting here with Ryan Perrio and NFL insider James, and we are about to inform you about the rookie busts this season. And I'm not talking about chess. I'm talking about 2 first-round rookies each of us are going to select who are going to be a bust on their draft pick this season. And then at the end, we will add one wild card, either a guy you think is getting too much heat, too much hate, or a non-first round player who, for whatever reason, you think is still overrated by the NFL community. And I am sitting here with the 2 most perfect people in the world to talk about this with. Sitting to this direction is SEC and NFL insider James. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic. I unfortunately wish that I had more connections in the ACC so we could talk about Bill Belichick, but oh well.
And his super hot 24-year-old girlfriend, which there's nothing weird about that, James. Last episode, no feelings were hurt. Are you? I have a feeling I know for a fact I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings with one of my selections here. And I think it's going to be Ryan Perrio, college film demon. Ryan Perrio planted his flag on number 91 overall pass rusher out of Toledo University, going to the Giants, Darius Alexander. So this guy watches film. He said he's almost done with the 2024 college football season.
What's left? The Sun Belt, the MAC. What is the
what do we got left, Ryan?
Bowl games.
He's watched every single piece of college football that has been available to him, and we're sitting here. What is it? May? Sitting here mid-May, and
yeah,
I think we're all in a pretty good spot.
You still catch feelings for some of these games. They're like so intense. Like I just watched the Louisville-Miami game a couple white nights ago. It's like you just catch feelings. Like you just get the excitement again of what's going on, even though you kind of know what happens. You still get the excitement of, oh my gosh, this game is so much closer than it. It was close, but it even feels so much closer.
Anyways, we are going to announce our 2 busts, and I will lead the way. First round bust. Number 1, and he went to Green Bay. They finally got themselves a first-round receiver. Too bad he stinks. Matthew Golden out of Texas. Hook him. Probably the least efficient wide receiver to ever be drafted in the first round of the NFL in the forward passing era that we're living in right now. Past 40, 50 years, we've gone back, looked at yards per route run a ways back, and he is the worst in efficiency. And it's because he disappears. He flashes, and he flashed really good late, and he flashed at the combine, even though his 4.29 combine score was false. He actually ran a 4.37, but that's a story for another video. I think the Packers totally blundered this one. They kind of have blundered wide receiver picks over the course of the last half a decade, probably more, outside of Devontae Adams. Anyways, they haven't drafted a good receiver since Devontae Adams. How's that? I think Matthew Golden is an absolute bust in fantasy football and in real life. I wouldn't be surprised if LaFleur gets his hands on him and realizes he ain't worth the juice and just benches his ass, and he'll come in as a 3rd, 4th receiver off the bench until Christian Watson gets hurt again. James, your thought on my first rookie bust?
That was a contender for my list. There was a debate internally between James and James on whether he was going to be in or one of my other 2 guys. So, I totally agree with you. Packers can evaluate a wide receiver, so that's all right. Honestly, that's all you need to know. Packers drafted a wide receiver in the first round, going to be a bust. Sorry.
Ryan Perrio, Matthew Golden was your number 2 rookie wide receiver in this draft class. I'm so sorry to put you in this spot, but you had to have seen this coming. Ryan Perrio, why are we dumb idiots? Tell us.
Because the Green Bay offense is going to still be good regardless. He's going to get opportunities. You look at Romeo Doubs. I think he's going to be injured at some point. He's gone from like mega helmet to guardian cap to he's going to have an even bigger helmet. He's going to have that Dallas Cowboys helmet with the lights on it by this season. Like I think Matthew Golden is going to basically be the last man standing. He's going to be a productive receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
He was drafted 23 overall, wide receiver 41 currently in best ball. So he's going pretty well ahead of Higgins and ahead of Trey Harris, my two rookie flag plants from last episode. Ryan Perrio, I'll give yourself a chance to cool off after I just disparaged your second favorite receiver's name on my podcast. And I'm going to let James go next. James, your first rookie bust.
You want my hot take? You want my hot take one? You want the hottest of the hot here?
Bring the heat.
Whatever you're
It's
into.
going to be 101 tomorrow, so let's bring the heat.
Yeah, can't wait. It's a simple one, and I've been saying it for a while. It's Travis Hunter. Until that man picks a position on the field, he's going to be a bust. You cannot play two positions in the NFL. Just doesn't work. And it only worked in Colorado because of the media circus that they were. If he picks a side, this take will change, but you're never going to play both. And as of now, still talking about Duval and no answer on which side of the ball he's going to play. So
Duval. Yeah, I'm kind of with you here. I almost want to do a whole episode of just kind of like, to use a word from last episode, planting our flag that Travis Hunter isn't as much of a unicorn as the media wants you to think.
Deion Sanders was a unicorn.
Yeah, but
no Travis Hunter.
Not Travis Hunter. Film-wise, I had him as the third best receiver in this class. I think you had him as like off your board. Film-wise,
I was off.
As a cornerback, I was expecting, because you see the highlights, you kind of watch the film. A lot of those Colorado games started at like 10:30 Eastern time, half the time. Like you're going to bed, you're watching the highlights in the morning. Like, yeah, highlights look great, but you watch his every target, because they did every target, just the tape did his offense and defensive. And I'm like, offensive, like he's pretty good, but I'm sure I'm going to watch this cornerback film and it's going to be much better. I don't think he was the sixth best corner in this draft.
Yeah.
And maybe you tell me, hey, the reason he was a good corner and a good receiver and not an elite on either side of the ball was because he was playing both ways. But then you're going to tell me he's going to play both ways in the NFL. I'm like, that ain't going to work. You can't be a third round cornerback and a early or late first round wide receiver and play both ways and be successful, because that's what I saw on film, James. So yeah, we are all, I think, pretty to market. Like, I don't want to say he's gonna be a bad player. I think he's a pro, right? I don't think he's gonna be playing in the XFL in 6 years, but at the same time, the haul that Cleveland got, now what they did with it, I'm not sure I loved in the second round, but they got my boy Harold Fannin at the end of it, so they made up for it there.
Plant your flag in Carson. Plant your flag at plant your flag in Swessinger, Jamie. Come on, plant a flag in Carson Swessinger.
I was shocked by that pick. I guess he's going to be great. I sure hope he is.
Tackle machine.
And then getting the running back with, I think, their own draft pick, Quinshon Judkins. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, I love that pick. I think the Browns won that trade because Mason Graham, I think, is more of a unicorn than Travis Hunter is. I don't know if that's probably a hot take, but defensively, Graham is going to fill a lot more holes in that Cleveland Browns defense than Travis Hunter ever would. He wouldn't even start at corner in that team. Ryan Perrio, Travis Hunter.
I'll cool on him as far as cornerback goes. I don't think it's happening. If you go watch the 2023 Colorado Stanford game where Alec Iomanner basically single-handedly big boys Travis Hunter for that whole game for 300, a college record, 25 receptions for 297 yards, 3 touchdowns. He absolutely abused Travis Hunter, and that's going to be the problem in the NFL. Is Alec Iomanner is not that big of a receiver when you look at the NFL game. He's going to be against a lot bigger bodies, especially when you got Jaden Higgins, Nico Collins coming in, Iomanner coming in with Tennessee, Calvin Ridley. I mean, it's going to be a hard road if he's going to play DB outside of just a gadget. I think as wide receiver, there is promise there because you have Brian Thomas Jr. out there at wide receiver 1. So all he has to be is big play wide receiver 2, which you don't even have to be big play wide receiver 2 when you got big play wide receiver 1. But he will be a matchup problem as corners basically double Brian Thomas Jr. try to contain him. So I could see him being like that inside lineup, deep threat, Tank Dell kind of receiver where he just absolutely just gets explosive big yard gains.
Yeah.
Basically because of the situation.
Yeah. And Alec, I say I am a Nor. I think that's incorrect. I think you're saying it correctly, but I never listened to when I was watching his film, I never listened to the announcers. Anyways, 4th round guy, like you said, went to Tennessee. Not a guy you'd write home about. And that's a great point. Like, you watch his film and watches every target and like, who's he covering? Nobody. That Horton guy right at Colorado State, who ended up going like 6th round or whatever to wherever. And yeah, just on shallow routes, didn't look super confident, didn't wow me as a tackler, had some big plays, but you had a lot of cornerbacks in this draft class make big plays. And I wasn't as impressed when Travis Hunter did it as I was the others, other than snaps. If I guess the Heisman voters thought snaps were the most important statistic in the whole college football realm, I'll die on the hill that Ashton Jeanty should have won Heisman this year over, and not just because I had money on it. Ryan Perrio, your first out of 2 first-round rookie busts.
I'm going to take one that I've been taking since the start of the draft season. I'm still going to say Jahdae Barron is going to be a bust just because I think his measurables when he measured out at the combine, like he is the lowest percentile cornerback as far as arm length, height. Like this is a big boy league, and a lot of times measurables matter. I think he's going to be one of those players that just gets picked on. They're going to find him on the field and put a big receiver on him and absolutely test him repeatedly until the defense takes him off.
Yeah, 5'11", 201. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember because we weren't tipped off on what our picks would be. He played a lot of like nickel, like inside for Texas. Is that right, Ryan Perrio?
I thought he played outside more. I thought he played
did he?
outside.
Okay, maybe I'm entirely.
I don't remember him very much at nickel.
Entirely mistaken. Insights would have it for us on X. James would be not too far of a scroll down.
Yeah. Career snap alignments wide 1,133, slot 917, and box SAF, which I don't know what that means. 508
box. Yeah, he's not going to be in the box player.
Oh, box safety. That makes way more sense. I was like, what the fuck is SAF?
Yeah, but 29 and 5/8 inch arm length. That's like record. That's day 3 cornerback level arm length. Like you talk about that for offensive tackle Will Campbell, who there's lots of harp on that. It's like, but you don't hear that for Jahdae Barron because he makes the highlight reel plays. But I'm like, your talent, the talent level you're going up against goes way up now, and I think those things matter. Like there's a reason that measurement is basically rated here, is because it's been proven over time that you can't. Maybe he proves me wrong and he becomes kind of like the Honey Badger-esque, kind of nickelback.
That would be a ceiling, right?
Yeah, but I just think that it was just a way too high of a pick for him to go.
Do you have him better or worse than Travis Hunter as a cornerback?
I have him better as a college cornerback, but I think Travis Hunter might be a better NFL DB just based on just measurables. Like I said, it comes down to under 6 foot. Like, what if he gets? You just basically make a big slot. Like, how is he going to guard Harold Fannin Jr.? Let's put him up against Harold Fannin Jr. Who's going to win that battle?
Good luck, pal.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like Jaden Higgins. Like there is Tetero McMillan.
Mike Evans.
All you have to do is let him up in the slot, and now he's got to go against him, and either that or know enough to pass him off, and hope the guy he's taking over is Travis Hunter's size or smaller.
James, did you get your thoughts out on Barron?
No, I think he's not going to be a very good cornerback. Not a lot of great wide receiver competition this year, quite honestly, in the SEC either. So if you're not looking the best against what I consider probably the weakest wide receiver year that the SEC's had in a long time. Not a good look. And the Honey Badger, good luck doing that because you do not have a nose for the ball like Tyrann Mathieu. So if you can force as many fumbles as Tyrann Mathieu, good luck. That's a tough thing to do. So I don't see any upside from him.
So I was correct. He did line up at a high rate, 19% in the box compared to most other, like Travis Hunter was 7%, Will Johnson 7%, Benjamin Morrison 6%, which is kind of crazy that a 5'11", 201 guy, because he plays to my eye, he kind of played big. So that's why when Ryan Perrio brought to my attention how much of a tiny baby boy he is.
It's not even just the height; it's more the arm length than anything. Like
Okay.
most NFL minimums usually 30 to 31 inches, and this is 29. And yeah, that much, but it's still when the ball's that much higher than your hands, it matters.
Now, to his credit, now you say he's lining up in the box and he's lining up in the slot more, so he's going up against lesser, athletes from those positions. But to his credit, he had the best yards per snap given up at 0.74 this season. Travis Hunter, by the way, 0.93. Like not even top 10 in this class. Anyways, sorry to double back on him. But for comparison's sake, the leaders last season in that metric, which I think is a pretty good metric, were Kamari Lassiter, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Nate Wiggins, and Quinyon Minchell. So pretty good indication that metric is meaningful. So hot take, yeah. Ryan Perrio. I see. I thought
it's kind of hot take, but I mean, I just look at the measurables, and I've seen too many of these, these last day of cuts where they take the guy with measurables over the guy that, is kind of the fan favorite. Like they just measurables at some point do matter, and I think at some point you get exposed.
And I think I'm kind of finding, because I've been scouting rookies for I think like hardcore like three years now, and I think I'm getting to the point where I'm like that old school gristly guy, like you have to be big enough to play in this. It's a men's league. Like, and like 2 years ago I was like, shut up, Tank Dell's going to be an all-pro. and he was, but then he broke into three pieces, and now you got to put him back together and see if he's got it left. James, did we get everything out on Barron? It's my pick, right?
I think so.
Number 2, bust. My number 2 guaranteed bust from this year's rookie first round is number 10 overall tight end. First one off the board, Colston Loveland. Now, a big part of this, which is the final nail in this guy's coffin for me, is he's not even healthy. What NFL insider James, were you aware of this? He had shoulder surgery, and he's not ready for minicamp. He's not going to be ready until August at best case scenario. He's probably going to miss preseason.
Yeah, I didn't have that piece of info, but
did anybody know this? Did the Bears know this?
I don't even think Colston Loveland knew this.
He didn't. He just got knocked out like these guys getting tattoos, and they just did they told him they was doing a full body back tattoo, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fix your rotator cuff while we're at it." Colston Loveland, I liked him. Third, my third favorite tight end of this draft class, of course, behind Harold Fannin, obviously. And I think this was one of the worst picks in the whole draft, let alone the first round. He has Eric Ebron written all over him. Both drafted to the NFC North. Ebron, of course, drafted to the Lions. Both 10th overall, except Ebron had way better statistics in college than Colston Loveland did. I don't hate this guy's film. He's not a yard after catch guy for me, which if you ask me, if we're talking about NFL players and we're talking about tight ends, you got to be able to break tackles and you got to be able to create after you catch the ball because these guys are going to be fast in the NFL. It's not like going to be college when a 6'6" guy can create a bunch of separation. It just ain't going to be that easy. And the injury concern and Luther Burden are two reasons I just think he's got a tough hill to climb over there in Chicago. You may notice both of my busts are NFC North teams that are not the Detroit Lions. So I think I just realized that. But shut up. All right. Colston Loveland's going to stink, and I guarantee it. My name's Jamie Jakes. James, what do you think?
Quit stealing my picks. Colston Loveland was also my pick for my next bust.
Boom. Take it away.
Yeah, I think it was a horrible draft pick as well. I mean, the number one thing that I talk about here, going back to the planting our flag episode, Mason Taylor and Colston Loveland are the same height. Mason Taylor has a 50% contested catch rate when he's catching the ball in college. Colston Loveland, 20%. You're 6'5" and your contested catch rate is 20%. Makes no sense to me. I think he's a glorified fullback.
Ryan Perrio.
I comped him to Travis Kelce now, like as far as my draft top. Like he was
no.
But he's like that every play he was just sitting there 10 yards downfield with nobody sitting around him, and it's like he never broke away. He just kind of caught the ball, then they grabbed his ankles and he went down. From somebody like Ben Johnson, like I said, I don't see the comparisons. Like if you were trying to redraft Sam Laporta in Chicago, why not go either Fannin or Tyler Warren, who I think is, even though he's not the fastest, he's a way better tight end prospect, I think, in my eyes. Like he's more versatile, he can do more things, but I don't understand the idea that Colston Loveland was the best tight end when you had all of them available. That Loveland was the one you settled on.
Apparently, he was the bell of the ball.
Why would you take him at 10? The 10 made no sense to me.
Apparently, he was the bell. I don't know if this is smoke screens, like other teams tricking the Bears into taking them there at 10th overall. But apparently, from some good sources, I think Shefty was talking about it on Pat McAfee, where Colston Loveland was the bell of the ball. Someone was going to take him at 11 if they didn't take him at 10. I don't know if I believe that. It seems like these NFL GMs are getting slightly better at their jobs. And I don't know. I have a tough time believing that you take a 10th round or a 10th overall guy at the tight end position with never had. I don't think he ever had a season over 800 yards receiving.
He had 5 touchdowns last year for Michigan. 5.
He got hurt. 10 games. He's still at 10th overall. I mean, what did Brock Bowers get his off the top of your head? Would he go for like 1,300 or something like that? Probably his finals.
So much more.
And he went 12, right?
Brock went later because everyone thought he was going to go to the Chargers, and the Chargers took Alt.
And the Jets too, right? Yep. And he fell past the Jets. So Bowers goes, I think, 12 to the Raiders, and he had like 10 times the college production in his final career season with Georgia than Colston Loveland ever had in his 35-game career. James?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, did I nail it?
Well, I looked at the stats. Brock Bowers had it was 26 touchdowns during his NFL career, college career. Colston Loveland has, I believe, the total is like 11.
Let's say 12 or 11.
It's 12 or 11, which is great. 11.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and it wasn't like he was playing behind all-stars. Tight ends.
His best receiving yards was his sophomore year with 649. yards.
And isn't Brock Bowers quarterback like still in rehab?
Well, right. I mean, he might be dead after cheating on one of the Cavender twins, so we'll see what's going on. They might have.
His sophomore quarterback I was talking about. Am I right about that? Anyways. Did we get everything out, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, so James, you're done.
I'm done.
So your two guys were Loveland and who?
Travis Hunter.
Hunter, of course. All right, Ryan Perrio, your final first-round bust of this draft.
It's going to be Shamar Stewart.
Ooh, I love this one. Go ahead, Ryan Perrio.
Again, it's one of those things where you look gore, you tempt everybody at the combine by having the most impressive performance statistically of any athlete in combine history since they've been recording those numbers.
Yeah.
But then you go look at his career and he has 3.5 sacks. And it's like, because it's the same thing with the Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson debate.
Yeah. And
look how that turned out. Like, Trayvon Walker isn't a bad player. Like, we're not compared to where he's drafted, you would probably, if you could do it over again, you would take Aiden Hutchinson 10 out of 10 times.
You think?
I think Trayvon Walker's kind of, like got himself into where he gets a rotation. He's a solid rotational player, but he's not the menace that everybody thought he would be after his combine footage. And I think that's going to be the same thing with Shamar Stewart, is that you got a defensive line coach that's totally basically trying to not get fired, but yeah, I could fix him. Yeah, we could probably tweak him. But if you haven't done it, you don't know how do you get to do it at the highest level? How does it evade you for a full 4 years in college when that's all you're basically doing? You're not even basically barely taking classes, and you're basically working on pass rush moves, and you don't have it by your senior year. It's a red flag for me.
At the end of the day, we're playing football. I mean,
Yes.
If he walks into a CrossFit gym, he's kicking all of our asses. He's making us look like a bunch of dumb idiots. But there's a lot of really good CrossFit athletes who probably aren't the best football players in the world outside of NFL insider James, outside of him, who's, an elite athlete. It's not a direct correlation. Just because a guy can get a lot of bench press reps and run a really, really fast 40 in his underwear doesn't mean he's going to be able to bend around the edge and take a quarterback's head off against,
elite NFL talent.
Tackles.
Penei Sewell.
And you didn't do it. You didn't do it in college. So
Yeah.
why are you getting drafted in the first round? It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. So that is a brilliant one. And we're done with our first round busts, right?
Yeah.
We have our wild cards.
And we have our wild card. You're exactly right, Ryan Perrio. So wild card pick, it can just be whatever you want it to be. Really is what this is. And what my wild card bust is, and hang with me here, he is going to be a bust, and I'll explain it in a second. My wild card bust, a guy who will for sure not succeed in the NFL, is Rutan Bashul Tootin. Jacksonville running back. 104 drafted overall. So you're saying, Jamie, how could a fourth round running back be a bust pick for you? You're not expecting much out of a fourth round draft pick anyway. And that is exactly my point. But listen to this. This is going to blow your minds, you guys. The best ball fantasy football community and how they view Rutan Bashul Tootin. They have him at running back 37 overall. And you're like, okay, that's a little bit of a stretch. That's you're reaching out and you're like hoping for the upside. But what if I told you, so he's running back 37. What if I told you 26-year-old first round, still on the team, running back Travis Etienne, running back 39, going after Bashul Tootin in best ball fantasy football? Tank Bigsby.
My pick for starting running back week 1 for them.
I agree. I think he's going to be the number one running back on the team. He took a big
absolutely
step forward.
Decimated in England. Like, he absolutely took that team on his back for like 150 yards and 3 touches.
23 years old. This is his third year in the NFL. He was drafted 88th overall by this team. He is running back 47, literally 60 picks in best ball fantasy football, going behind Bashul Rutan Tootin for Jacksonville. And, say what you want about these other guys. 37, running back 37 in Jacksonville. Are they going to be good this year? I hope so. But this narrative is out there that the team hates Travis Etienne. They're stuck with them. He's probably maybe the best running back, maybe 1A, 1B situation, or maybe Tank Bigsby takes another big step forward. That's what I think is going to happen. But you have a lot of obstacles in the way of a fourth round running back to go and basically going to have to start from day one to pay off this RB37 over there in Duval with a new head coach, new offensive coordinator. And I get it. He was awesome in Tampa, but a lot of that was Baker Mayfield, and we all know that. Anyways, Do you guys have any thoughts on James? Do you have any thoughts on Bashul Tutin?
I mean, we talked a lot today about where people were drafted and what situations they were in. That's probably one of the worst situations for the running back right now. I don't want to be stuck behind those two guys. Good luck.
No, two guys on the come up, young guys, high draft capital guys, and you're expecting a fourth rounder to come in and usurp them on day one because the GM said something nice about him after he drafted him. Of course he did. He's the GM. He just drafted him. He's like, this guy actually stinks. That's why we didn't draft him in the first, second, or third
Can we
round.
talk a minute about the GM of the Jaguars and how much he looks like a kid that's just visiting the facility with the fucking hoodie, talking about like we're looking at greatness here with Travis Hunter, like having this big long ass speech. Come on.
He looks like a professional Madden streamer, like something.
He looks like it looks like basically he won a contest to be a GM for a day. Like he doesn't look.
Honestly, you talk about the hoodie look, but this bomber jacket look is even worse. He looks like he's in high school in this photo.
He does. He looks like he should just be on his phone, just playing like Candy Crush while things are happening.
I mean, our comment section will tell us we look like a bunch of doofuses too, but yeah, we're not actual GMs.
I'm fine with being called young. Go for it.
And yeah, so that's Bashul Tutin. That's my wild card bust, fourth round guy, but people love him. And I don't know why. Going second round every single best ball draft or every single dynasty draft I've seen, he's gone second round every single time, like mid. Like next to Cam Scatabo. I saw somebody tweet today, Bashul Tutin or Cam Scatabo, fantasy football, dynasty. Who do you got? And I'm like, I retweeted. I was like, one Cam Scatabo versus 100 Bashul Tutins. Who wins in a fight? I'm taking Cam. I really am. I don't know. Sue me. James, you want to go next? Your first wild card?
Chill out, Caleb Johnson. I think I've heard way too much about Caleb Johnson being in such a good position. He's such a good fit for Pittsburgh. He's not an impressive running back, and the only reason he's impressive is because he'll keep running out there and getting hit. I don't care. I'm not impressed by Caleb Johnson as a running back. And if he's going to a team that could barely get enough out of Najee Harris, they're not going to get a lot out of Caleb Johnson. So best of luck.
Najee, 3 years back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing season. So hold your horses. I think he was impressive in college. 2 years of elite production in an Iowa Hawkeyes offense, James. You know how hard it is to produce in Iowa?
If I had 3 tight ends blocking for me on every play, I think I could run for a good amount of yards.
Well, I mean, yeah, Sam Laporta, TJ Hawkinson. I don't think they cross paths. But anyways, Caleb Johnson rules. And you're just a hater, James.
I am a hater.
And that's what I think about that. Ryan, Caleb Johnson.
I like Caleb Johnson. I think he's a solid one-cut running back. I think maybe he fits the scheme better than Najee because I think Najee is more of a pick a hole kind of running back. Like he'll stop and pick a hole, whereas Caleb Johnson just is a one-cut and go. He kind of reminds me of Tevin Campbell, like old Falcons running back, where he just Tevin Coleman, where he just one cut and then he was gone. And that's the kind of runner I see him being, is kind of that Tevin Coleman scheme. Hopefully not as injury riddled as Tevin Coleman's career was, because he was absolutely tearing up for 3 weeks as the 49ers starting running back before he basically lost his career.
Caleb was durable in college, carried a big workload, way bigger workload than both of the Ohio State running backs ever did in any single season that they had in their whole career, even before Travion Henderson was there, which is why I think Caleb is going to be a better running back in the NFL.
You guys bring that up. I also think that's a massive point against him. I mean, he was just
the tread on the tire. That's why you don't like Ashton Genty. Well, I guess we'll see. Yeah, I like everything about. I think he's a good pass catcher too. The only thing is Jaylen Warren, which I've always been a Jaylen Warren believer. He's getting a little bit older now. I think he's like 27. I think he was like a real old rookie. I think he's like 27 now, and the contract they gave him to come back and be a Pittsburgh Steeler was like not a lot, not getting paid a lot. So I think Caleb Johnson has a great opportunity to just be the number one there, because they kind of just hate Jaylen Warren, even though they just re-signed him to a pennies contract. Everything we got done with Caleb Johnson. Okay, Ryan Perrio, your wild card getting too much heat or whatever?
My wild card is to lay the heat off of Tyler Shuck.
Okay.
Like I'm not here to proclaim that he's going to be an all-pro quarterback. I think he will be a capable starter for the next 3 to 5 years while Saints draft and develop their quarterback of the future. I think he perfectly fits what they want to do, which is a great bridge quarterback that's not going to lose them games, a la Spencer Rattler. Spencer basically he rattled that ball to the other team so many times. Like I think he's just getting a lot of flack, just because he's not the glitz and glam kind of quarterback prospect. But you're going into a situation we don't have to be. You're going to be, even though it's a competition, it's a very rigged competition for the guy that was drafted by the coach that's now been hired to be the guy. And I think
NBA lottery.
yeah. So I think Kellen's going to pick his guy. He's going to end up picking Tyler Shuck out of the guys that's on that roster, and I think he's just going to be the guy that coaches on the field, does the right things, doesn't put it into danger. You watch it; he frustratingly throws that ball away. You can watch a few games where he basically literally doesn't go for an extra yard, just chucks it underhand out of bounds, like. He can frustrate you by doing the safe thing, but I think that he is going to be a NFL low end to mid range starter for 2 to 3 years, while Arch Manning basically takes his grandfather's mantle and takes the Saints back to the Super Bowl at some point.
Yep, Derek Carr out, retired, obviously, so it's Tyler Shuck's job to lose. Spencer Rattler was drafted by the team last year, I believe, in the 5th round, James. Is that right?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. We were both
on the first 3.
He was Shadured last year. He was Shadured.
Well, I mean, but we knew ahead of time he wasn't going to get drafted in the 2nd round. We were both kind of big stans of Spencer Rattler. Turns out Xavier Legette and Rattler both suck. So who is that coach? Who's that offensive coordinator? Someone needs to hire.
Beamer's the head coach.
Because he turned Spencer Rattler and Xavier Legette into.
Well, I mean, Lincoln Riley couldn't even turn Spencer Rattler into a quality QB.
Exactly.
Not that Caleb Williams is really lighting up the NFL scoreboards either, but I feel like Caleb Williams is a way better quarterback than
Dow Logans, who's now the head coach at App State.
All right, so let's take App State's over. Let's write that down. And their quarterback to win whatever mountain. What are they? Mountain West or whatever? What
they are? The Sun Belt.
Sun Belt.
With the Chanticleer, with Coastal Carolina and Eastern Carolina.
Yeah,
and Marshall.
Whoever their quarterback is, Sun Belt Player of the Year. Whoever their
might want to enter the transfer portal. Might want to look at that transfer portal.
Sure running back from Texas State, Ishmael will be Player of the Year for Sun Belt Conference. We won't talk about that.
All right,
you guys got notes on that one.
Relax. Anyways, getting back to Shuck here. He has a little bit of Carson Wentz in him, where he will just make just one weird stretch the play bonehead decision, and we saw it at the combine with that weird combine rep where he tried to do a back fadeaway flick of the wrist, and it just totally missed his receiver. It looked horrible, and it would have been right over the middle, hospital ball, or definitely an interception if there were players on the field, and that was against air. Tall guy, that's his only attribute. Old guy, 25 years old, has played a lot of college football, so I guess there's that. Doesn't have a cannon for an arm, but showed a lot of good accuracy, and most of the time made great decisions. It's just that 2% of the time, 1 out of 50 plays, he just does something real weird. And maybe they'll coach that out of him. I mean, we saw some bad characteristics out of Jaden Daniels get coached out immediately. He had one of the best probably the best rookie quarterback season of all time. So players can change when they get thrust into good situations. I don't think that's a good situation over there in New Orleans, though.
It's not a good situation, but we're not asking him to be a great quarterback either. We're just asking him to basically hold the water until, and just kind of be the bridge so that we're not.
He's got Kellen Moore as his head coach. I think that's a pretty big leg up, so we'll see what happens.
So Ryan Perrio, all you're saying is quit calling him Tyler Suck.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tone it down. Just tone it down.
Okay. I'll quit disparaging him. I agree with you. He was like my 5th favorite quarterback in this class, I believe. James, Tyler Suck, you've gotten everything out on him?
I've got him in Dynasty. I really do think he's in a great situation to succeed.
Where'd you draft him?
Second, third round, I think.
He made it in the 3rd round?
In
No way.
In our league. Yeah, man.
Late second, I thought.
Shadur got drafted before him, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I got Dylan Gabriel like a full 2 rounds after him.
I can tell you if you give me a second.
Is
Pick 303.
303. Congratulations.
303. You're welcome.
Starting quarterback. You should just trade him for a 1st-round draft pick right now. That's what you should do.
I've also got Daniel Jones. So my plan this year is to do what I've done every year and pick up a starting quarterback and then trade it to somebody after somebody gets injured. So worked out.
I'll trade you, Daniel. I'll trade you for Daniel Jones right now. Anyways, we're already done.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We're done with the whole damn episode. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know in the comments section which one of us you think is a big dumb idiot. I'm glad we didn't hurt too many feelings. I thought we were gonna really get after each other in this one, and turns out that wasn't the case. So happy to be here. Happy to have you guys. I'm thinking next episode needs to be a Dynasty startup mock draft.
Oh my. Okay. All right.
So probably be a 10-rounder, super flex. So start preparing for that, guys. I think we'll have the 3 of us on screen, and hopefully we'll have the rest either filled out by computers or real other people who are off screen. Will be the plan. Ryan Perrio, I know you're not a Dynasty guy. Are you up for that?
I'm up for it.
Okay.
I will do my research and see if we can replicate my success on the betting, the draft bet.
Maybe this will be a fun experience, a good experiment to have you. You've never even done a super flex Dynasty mock draft before.
Correct.
So this will be your first one live, not live, but recorded live.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun, and maybe you can make us look like dumb idiots by the end of the season.
We'll see. I like the Ringer calls all these different fantasy football leagues like porn. Like, which one are you into? Like, it's like,
oh yeah.
Ooh, what's PPR? It's like
point per first down. Getting into the nitty gritty, the weeds. You need a subscription for a point per first down league. Like, no.
Give me the VR Dynasty.
All right, so that's what we'll do next, and I think we're gonna do that ASAP, Rocky. So hopefully maybe next week, Tuesday night or something like that. Maybe even this weekend would be something good to get done then. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for that content. If you haven't already, check out our flag plan episode where we guaranteed success of a total of, I think, 7-ish guys.
7 guys.
7.5.
dudes.
According to your Darius Alexander comments, feels like.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank you for reminding me to go watch that film. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.